all have backlogs. From the best of the best, the Marios, the Kirbys, the Pokemons, to the niche, the Lufias, the Striders, the Dragon Quests, to even the stinkers. There are thousands of games worth playing from the short 50-year history of retail video games. But you know what are just as worthwhile? Card games. One of the best ways to get out of the house and meet people with similar interests to you. But not today, since we're going full single-player mode, as I 100% the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color, using the power of RetroAchievements. This site gives Xbox-style achievements or PlayStation-style trophies to retro games, from the Atari days all the way up to the 6th generation of consoles. If you want to give your favorite game a try, I'll leave a link in the description to RetroAchievements. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and if you want to choose what ROM Hacker official title I do my next RetroAchievements 100% video in, become a member today. It is only $2.99 a month, you get access to most videos a day early, and polls to choose which ROM Hacker official game I'll be doing next. But with that, let's delve into the wonderful world of the Pokemon trading card game. So initially, I was going to make this video on all three TCG video games, both the Game Boy Color ones and the DS game, but I tried doing that and the video was going to come out to about 2 hours, so I'm splitting off the two Game Boy Color games into separate videos. But to help folks who aren't familiar with the Pokemon TCG, I'd like to start this one with the third and final game released, also the shortest game at a small 24 achievements total, released at the start of the Generation 5 era, Pokemon Card Asobikata DS. This is a Japanese-only tutorial title that teaches you the basics of the Pokemon TCG. And when the heck else am I gonna play this, because I've never touched this before? However, there is no complete English patch, so I'm going in with very little understanding. Thankfully, I had one of my friends along with me for the ride, but we'll get to that after the 9 lessons available here. This first tutorial section starts with our player character Shun talking with his friend Nanami, though it's just a text-based explanation on how the main game pieces work, like the coin, the deck, damage counters, the game mat, and the poison and burn markers, which I'll explain in more detail once we get into an actual game. Once we click through all that dialogue though, we're able to earn the I don't understand anything achievement. Honestly, these kids should be very happy they're not playing other card games around this time. Just a month prior to this game's release in August of 2011 was the release of Yu-Gi-Oh's Photon Shockwave, bringing about the dreaded wind-up hunter that would eventually lead to full-on hand loops. You would have no hand by the end of your opponent's first turn, nearly killing the game as a third of the player base moved to the newly launched Card Fight Vanguard in January of this year. And in that same August month, Magic the Gathering had released their 2012 core set, introducing the hexproof keyword, basically meaning a creature couldn't be the target of spells or abilities from the opposing player, while the player who controlled the hexproof creature could still target it. In short, 2011 was a rough time for most players of the big three card games. Even the main format of the Pokemon TCG was struggling a little bit with Gothitelle Reuniclus item locks as well as the Pokemon Catcher item, which allowed you to gust any Pokemon from your opponent's bench into the active. And I have to reiterate, this was an item card. They had to errata this to put a coin flip on it because it was too good, then turned the original effect into a supporter card, which I will get into all of these terms shortly. I just want to express that all three of these games were in a really rough patch that were getting more complex as time rolled on in 2011. But while I get through the heavy text of Lesson 2, I want to give a huge thanks to today's sponsor, Manta Sleep. If you're anything like me, you're probably one that has a problem getting to bed at night with no energy to take on the next day. Light sources mess up your sleep big time, and in my case, having a bunch of game consoles and computer monitors with their LEDs on bothers me quite a bit, but Manta Sleep has been such a help in making sure I can fall asleep perfectly with their sleep masks. Now, I've talked about Manta Sleep before, but since that video nearly a year ago, I've continued to use their sound mask to help me sleep at night. Blocking out both those LED lights, and with the Bluetooth connectivity, I can choose to listen to something to drift off to sleep, like the movie-length review of Chrono Trigger by Jason Graves. The sound quality is also pretty darn good. I've actually brought it on flights before to both block out the packed plane while listening to any downloaded YouTube videos I've brought along with me. There's a wide variety of masks too, so if you prefer not having sound while you sleep, or you're on a tighter budget, the Silk Mask or Standard Sleep Mask are for you. They're soft, breathable, and completely adjustable for your comfort, completely with no pressure on your eyes thanks to their design. They also have a white noise machine for blocking out any other noises to help you sleep, something I've appreciated far more than just using the noise from a fan in the background. I've been using that technique for over a decade, but the white noise machine has been a considerable improvement. If you're looking for better sleep, use code MEATBALL at checkout for 10% off, link in the description. It really helps support the channel while also supporting healthy sleep habits, and that's one of the most important things we do in life. Thanks once again to Manta Sleep for sponsoring the video, and let's get into some more Pokemon TCG. After all of Lesson 2's text, we're finally able to play a game, and shown how to put Pokemon into play, and how you're only allowed one manual attachment of energy per turn. If you're curious, these are actual cards, unlike Pokemon TCG Pocket, which has soared in popularity recently, which has given you a dedicated energy zone so that you don't have to deal with Mana Flood or Mana Drought. Terms used for having too much or too little of a resource from Magic the Gathering, but mana basically means energy here. With that said, it's super easy, only one Pokemon to KO with Tepig's Tackle and Rollout through Blitzel to win the game and earn the Getting the Basics achievement. The third tutorial teaches you how to evolve, which you can only do once per Pokemon per turn, and not on the first turn that the Pokemon is in play. So I'm able to bring in Emboar and thrash through both Darumaka and Zebstrika, earning the win before I take all my prize cards due to Nanami running out of Pokemon on the board, earning the Pokevolution achievement. The fourth tutorial teaches you how to use item cards, like I mentioned before, and you can use as many of these as you want during your turn. Simple stuff, and winning earns me the Everything a Trainer Needs achievement. Fifth finally introduces a new opponent in Chizuru, used to teach you about weakness and resistance. Not really something you need to be taught since it's information explained on the card, with the text for weakness and resistance right next to it, and it didn't need a different lesson, but considering I had the type advantage over everything but Simisage here, it's a quick win to earn the Advantages and Disadvantages achievement. Sixth is against Masayoshi, teaching players about special conditions. Poison deals 10 damage during Pokemon Checkup. Think of it as an upkeep or standby phase that occurs between each player's turns. Same thing with Burn, but instead does 20 damage, then you flip a coin. If heads, heal the burn. Paralysis prevents you from attacking or retreating manually for the turn, though you can still use an item card like Switch to forcefully switch and get rid of yourself Paralysis or any special condition, as they are healed when a Pokemon inflicted swaps from the active to the bench spot. Sleep does the same thing as Paralysis, but the chance to wake up takes place between turns during Pokemon Checkup on a coin flip. If heads, wake up. Lastly, Confusion makes it so you have to flip a coin either while attacking or manually retreating. If tails on attacking or retreating, do nothing. Fun fact though, Confusion was a much nastier special condition in the older games and older formats though. Trust me, you will see when we get to the Game Boy Color. The battle goes by super easily despite Venipede's potential to poison, earning me the little extra achievement. Seventh on the list is Iwao, and not gonna lie, I don't know what the point of this one is. Beating him back with the power of Emboar though earns me the Special Ability achievement, leading to the 8th tutorial against Jirai. His battle mostly focuses on additional effects attached to certain attacks, such as Krokorok's Crunch attack, which flips a coin and if heads, discards an energy attached to the defending Pokemon while also doing 40 damage. I very much dislike energy removal, and you're gonna see why they stopped printing guaranteed energy removal effects on trainer cards very shortly, eventually KOing everything he had and earning the Test Your Strength achievement. Last but not least is one more tutorial against Nanami, teaching players about supporter cards. They're also under the umbrella of trainer cards, but you can only use one supporter per turn, and generally have more powerful effects, like Charon's ability to draw 3 cards. Don't worry though, we won't have to think about supporters ever again in this video after I beat her and get the I Get It Now achievement, since the decks in the free battle mode don't have any supporters for some reason, and the supporter card type has not been invented by the time of either of the Game Boy Color games releases. Woohoo! More card draw for me! But that's only one facet of How to Learn DS, since we still have the quizzes and the free battle modes. The quizzes, of course, were incomprehensible to my eyes since I can't read kana, but thankfully I know just the woman. Friend of the channel Isagiyame has appeared on this channel before, check out our 2-player Nuzlocke video if you're interested in that, and gave me about an hour of her time for the 4 different difficulties. Though despite that, she still had a bit of a hard time translating since the game's in hiragana, and from my understanding, it's spoken phonetically rather than kanji, where each character represents a whole word. Because of that, we still had some hiccups to say the least.
If you don't have a Pokemon or a basic Pokemon the first hand, you can show your opponent and you can take more. Take a card, 7 cards.
Yeah.
Oh, this is wrong.
Wait, what? Why is that one wrong?
Wait, hold on.
Why is that one?
Oh, sorry, I didn't read it all the way.
However, even despite that, we managed to get through all 4 quizzes, earning the Newbie, Amateur, Average, and Expert Player achievements. That's just a little over half though, since the last remaining 11 achievements are earned by playing the free battle mode. These are just the decks from the tutorials, so I started with the Tepig structure and challenged Chizuru since she's using the Snivy deck. And fun fact, even though I had weakness, I still got stomped since I couldn't draw to save my life, and there's no draw supporters in the deck nor consistency tools outside of Pokeball, which only adds a Pokemon from your deck to your hand, on a coin flip. This game is notorious on a surface level for having a bunch of coin flips. Think Misty if you're still playing Pocket right now. But in reality, in the actual TCG, most of the time, these items and Pokemon with attacks that live or die based on a coin flip are pack filler. Regardless, due to resolving both Pokeballs, I still managed to get the Mega Fire Pig achievement for evolving up into Emboar during the battle, but due to Krokorok's effect that on a coin flip if heads remove 1 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, my Emboar had no chance of getting charged up before all 3 prizes were taken, so I chalked it up to bad RNG and tried again with the Tepig deck, this time facing off against Jirai. He's also a Snivy deck user, and due to a better start this go around, I immediately started to charge up Bouffalon, all while both Zebstrika and Pignite are on the bench. I figured I was in good shape, I just used Bouffalon as a wall, then a second Tepig against his Sandile, hoping to eventually draw into some energy for Emboar, and on the usage of Pokedex, letting me look at the top 5 cards on my deck, I knew I was safe since I had plenty enough to attack with, but it would take 5 turns of survival. The potion in hand was exactly what the doctor ordered, helping to extend my active Tepig and give me 4 of those turns, charging up enough for Heat Crash for 50 damage, with him retreating into Maractus next turn, which was one-shot by Emboar thanks to the 2x weakness. Still don't know how this game gets away with that in modern times. Just having a type advantage over one of the other colors in the game is obnoxious to say the least. It's like saying a red mage would have super effective damage against a green mage in Magic the Gathering. And, the type effectiveness charts in the Sacred Cards and Reshef of Destruction for Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a big reason that was never in the actual trading card game. A few more Heat Crashes and a Flare Blitz later though, Emboar is able to solo the game by taking out Snivy and Sandile, earning me all 3 prizes, and the achievements Underestimated Opponent for defeating Jirai, and Fired Up for defeating any opponent in the free battle mode using the Tepig deck. Next up, Masayoshi, the only opponent who uses the Oshawott deck, and I start hot with the Snivy deck, leading Patrat with a Snivy already on the board and a Pokeball resolving to Surf Servine. Sure, I don't have any grass energy at the moment, but fighting is doing just fine to do some damage with Patrat to my opponent's lead Pansear, which is a little terrifying since A, it does weakness damage to my grass types, and B, the first attack, Collect, allows him to draw a card, being the only draw support in any of the decks with the 3 monkeys. Thankfully, I'm able to attach some fighting energy though, and go to town for another 2 turns, getting him down to 20 HP, but of course, there's a switch card into Venipede. But thankfully, I drew my own Panpour, having the same collect attack to let me draw a card and get some more consistency. But after Patrat went down, I figured I'd go into Servine as Venipede's at 10 HP, KOing with Wrap, but he managed to set up his Samurott during the few turns needed to KO Venipede with Patrat and Servine, and upon seeing my next 5 draws due to Pokedex, I knew I was going to need to stall for a tiny bit. So I retreated into Panpour, attached my last energy in hand, and just started praying I could survive long enough to draw into Serperior with the Collect attack. I managed to get 2 turns out of it, attaching energy to Servine all the while, and that was just long enough for me, drawing into Serperior, attaching the second grass energy, and evolving to earn the Regal achievement for doing so, going for Leaf Storm. It does 60 damage and heals 20 from each grass Pokemon on the field, which takes me out of the danger zone from this point on. It takes a few turns due to the AI retreating to Pokemon with more than 60 HP every turn, but eventually I do manage to KO Pansear and Samurott, earning me the Noble Win achievement for winning with the Snivy deck, and Miscalculated for defeating Masayoshi. Only 5 achievements remain, and of course that means we're onto the Oshawott deck, challenging Nanami on the Tepig deck, and as expected it's an absolute curb stop, using Pansear to draw several cards with Collect at the start of the game, eventually setting up a Whirlipede to KO her Joltik in one shot, finally drawing Oshawott as I KO Darumaka, and then having just enough time to evolve it, earning the Formidable achievement for doing so, all while Whirlipede just does the first 50 damage to Zebstrika, finishing it off next turn to win the match, earning the Intimidating Choice and Better Than the Teacher achievements for winning with the Oshawott deck and defeating Nanami respectively. The other 2 are easy enough. Chizuru's second attempt goes much better with me opening Pansage for that same Collect attack, letting me turbo out 2 Pignites and start KOing Patrat and Serperior, leaving just Maractus to go down before Emboar even made it to the field, winning the match and earning the Breaking the Ice achievement. All that remains is a WoW, and I go with the Oshawott deck since he's using the Tepig, starting Venipede and immediately drawing Whirlipede, managing to win the battle by only having to knock out Blitzel due to the lack of any other basic Pokemon on a WoW's field, earning me the win in record time, getting me the Hyped for the Moss achievement, and 100%ing Pokemon card game Asobikata DS in a grand total of 2 hours and 54 minutes. Short game, but for being included in a starter deck pack with all 3 decks physically, I'd say that was worth the 3 hours. Honestly, they should have released this product in the US. I feel like it would have really bolstered the player base at the start of the black and white era, and hey, maybe it would have sold enough for them to consider reusing the engine for a Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship style game that would have been an RPG. It really is unfortunate that we haven't had TCG RPGs since the Game Boy Color, since those games are fantastically structured and work much better as RPGs than the likes of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards or Chef of Destruction ever did. But that needs to be seen to be believed, so now that you mostly know how the Pokemon trading card game operates, let's head into the first Pokemon TCG game for the Game Boy Color. Oddly enough, the first RPG only has 11 more achievements than the tutorial game, totaling up to 35. So let's get started by picking a starter deck from Dr. Mason, this game's substitute for a professor, after a quick tutorial game that tells you what to do each turn. No need to cover that. I end up choosing the Squirtle and Friends deck since it eventually leads into a pretty darn good deck in Rain Dance, named for Blastoise's namesake ability that lets you bypass the energy attachment limit as many times as you want during your turn to any water-type Pokemon. Though I'm gonna need a lot of packs to fill that up, so I immediately head to the Water Club and start bashing Amanda's cards into a fine powder. Such as in this first duel where I managed to win with just Hitmonchan within 2 turns due to her only starting Poliwag and having no other basic Pokemon, giving me 2 mystery packs. Despite the name, there's no mystery as to what's in this pack, and I hate to say that there's really not that much for my desired deck. Energy removal is available at Common, which I'll be playing at the max 4 copies in any deck constructed, as well as Articuno in the rare slot specifically for the Blastoise deck. And I pretty much want 4 of these each due to how much damage they can soak up as a basic, and because energy removal is just really good. Letting me evolve Squirtle on the bench in peace, then attach 4 water energy to Articuno and go to town with Blizzard. However, with how crappy my deck is at the start, I'm not winning every match guaranteed. Heck, in my next 2 matches after that quick win, I lost pretty poorly due to my lack of consistency. Though in my second win, I did already manage to pull a single Articuno and energy removal, slotting them immediately into the deck. After about a half dozen duels though, I figured I'd go ahead and check the PC for some mail, as Dr. Mason occasionally sends you packs that you can soft reset for to try to get cards you're missing. Though this time, I was just looking for a Professor Oak to shore up some more early game consistency, and since he gives a Coliseum pack here, I managed to get one on my first attempt. I also could use some more water energy cards for the deck, and luckily there's an NPC in Dr. Mason's lab that will give you 10 of each energy card if you don't have any in your inventory, which is easily done by filling up the other 3 deck slots as many times as you can, with just 59 energy cards and 1 Pokemon, getting more than enough for the rest of the game. I also should note you can go to any club in any order in this game thanks to the abridged world map compared to the route-by-route progression of a normal Pokemon game, so I'm more than free to head into the Fire Club and face off against the club members in here as well, with the first member here named John giving you 2 evolution packs upon defeat. This one's a pretty important pack as well for me since it offers the entire Squirtle line so I can buff out the playsets while also containing some important trainers like Pokemon Breeder, the old version of Rare Candy that would let you go from the basic Pokemon, in my case Squirtle, straight to the stage 2, here being Blastoise, so I can start loading up on a bunch of energy immediately. Though that's in the rare slot, so it'll be a bit of a grind to get all of them needed. Thankfully, there's other good trainer cards in the pack like Energy Retrieval, great for getting back lost water energy in the discard pile for Blastoise's effect, as well as Super Potion, both at uncommon, as well as the deck-thinning Energy Search and Gust of Wind being in the common slot, the latter of which lets you just bring up any Pokemon from your opponent's bench into the active slot. Remember what I said about Pokemon Catcher? Yeah, Gust of Wind is just as broken, and for some reason they thought it was a good idea to print that again in Gen 5. Overall though, it just makes for some pretty easy KO setups. Pokemon Trader is also fine in the rare slot since it at least shores up the early game consistency as well, though this will not be a final inclusion in the deck once I'm done with the grind. Speaking of Breeder though, I had such a odd little bit of RNG where after one of the early wins, I had Pokemon Breeder in the rare slot, followed by Weepinbell and Haunter, only for the second pack given to me by John to have the exact same first 3 cards. The likelihood of that is extremely low, but I will 100% take being halfway done with getting the Breeder playset already. I also already have the playset of Squirtle, and since I have Breeder, I don't need the playset of Wartortle, so 3 is more than enough. But I still don't have more than 1 Blastoise. It's at least giving me time to collect the rest of the cards from the pack, but I'm a bit worried that it's gonna get all of those, and I'm gonna still need to grind the pack for the 2 extra Blastoises, as well as the 2 extra Breeders that I want. Heck, after about an hour and a half, I managed to get 46 out of the 50 cards with no extra Blastoises. Though just 2 duels after checking, I did manage to get my second Blastoise, and a third only a half dozen duels later. Perfect, we've got a deck on our hands. Articuno's still not finished up playset-wise, but I've got a good engine now. Still gotta grind out the remainder of the cards, but upon pulling Victory Bell, I've unlocked the Card Collector achievement for getting half the cards in the game. Sweet. And upon pulling Nidoking, we're done with Evolution and ready to head out for the other packs. Honestly surprised there's no achievement for completing each individual set, since 35 does seem like a small amount, and bolstering it to 40 for the 4 sets and the promo cards seems smart, but I digress. If you're curious about the complete list of cards in the game and want to attempt this challenge yourself, I've left a spreadsheet checklist for both TCG Game Boy Color games in the description. And while you're down there, make sure to check out my GamerSupps affiliate link and use code ChaoticMeat at checkout for 10% off. I bring this up because the day this video goes live, GamerSupps has just opened their European and Australian branches, meaning no more expensive shipping from the US for those who are interested in trying the best alternative to coffee and energy drinks money can buy, in my opinion. Plus, if you get a tub, you'll also get a free shaker cup while supplies last, and I'd highly recommend both the pineapple cocktail and titty milk flavors, the latter of which being delectable with the creamy blue raspberry flavor. Just had to say it in the creepiest way possible. That said, it's back to grinding Amanda, not grinding on, for the mystery pack. God, sometimes I really don't know why I go off script, because these jokes just come up in my head, and I'm like, I know I shouldn't include them in the video, but God, it would be so funny. Anyway, we did go back to grinding Amanda for the mystery packs, though I did realize that this fight was much more difficult than I had anticipated, since she has Scyther and Aerodactyl in her deck, the former being able to attack for 3 colorless energy doing 30 damage, and Aerodactyl is just a flat-out floodgate that prevents both players from evolving their Pokemon. It's disgusting, especially when I'm on Blastoise. And I need better consistency just to be able to beat her, so I instead hopped over across the Water Club to Sarah for the Colosseum packs. Probably should have just gone for this one first thing, since this is where all of the good trainer cards are. Bill, which is just Pot of Greed, and Switch are found at common. Plus Power, which increases the damage you do that turn by 10, and the Consistency God Professor Oak, letting you discard your hand and draw 7 cards, are all available at uncommon. And finally, in the rare slot, there's Computer Search, a flat discard 2 cards and search any card from your deck. Card is broken as all hell. There's a reason they made it an A-spec card, which can only be played 1 per deck in the black and white era. And Item Finder is also in the rare slot, which basically does the same thing, discard 2, but instead letting you add back any trainer card from your graveyard instead of from your deck. All of these are going to be instrumental to making good decks, and why we need 4 of each. Using Vaporeon right now as the filler for Articuno, though, is more than enough to let me get by this grind. Pulling 4 Bill and 4 Professor Oak quickly enough, but I do need to get the remaining cards from this pack. Running through the fight about 50 times before swapping decks, since I've managed to pull enough from this pack to play the classic Haymaker strategy. Using the power of Hitmonchan, Electabuzz, and Scyther in tandem for their low-cost attacks that pretty effectively play around both energy removals, with a variety of types to take advantage of weakness on most decks, it's a cinch to finish off the pack grind, pulling Raichu to finish the 56-card set. And what's hilarious is that I pulled that Raichu after already pulling 4 Item Finder and 4 Computer Searches from that same rare slot, so I appreciate the RNG giving me the most optimal cards for the future. That leads me back to Amanda, and with Haymaker, that Aerodactyl is practically dead weight now. Plus, I can sit here and get my Articunos for the Rain Dance strategy, and these two pretty much will be what I play for the remainder of the game. With Clefairy pulled from Amanda's mystery packs though, we're done with that set, leaving just Laboratory. Though we don't quite have access to those packs just yet, I've been mostly front-loading all of this grinding so that all of the achievements will fall like flies later, such as with some of the trades using cards from the 3 packs we just finished. In the Water Club lobby, there's both an NPC that will activate the Imakuni fight, as well as someone who wants to trade Lapras for a promo Arcanine, giving me the A Fiery Trade achievement. Then in the Grass Club lobby is another lass who wants an Oddish in exchange for her Vileplume level 35. This isn't a promo, but it is an achievement, giving me an evolutionary trade. But before I can do my next trade, in the Fighting Club lobby, there's the man himself, Imakuni. If you're unfamiliar, Imakuni was kind of a mascot for Pokemon over in Japan in its early days. Essentially, think of the guy who did the vocals for the Poké-Rap, but instead there was an actual face and name to the character that sang it. He uses a deck that confuses itself with his namesake trainer card. It's terrible, especially since confusion damage also accounts for your weakness. So if you're weak to your own typing like Slowpoke is here, you'll just KO yourself and lose. Heck, this fight wasn't even a fight. I didn't even get to activate a single card. He just KO'd himself on the first turn. But for winning, I get the Mysterious Imakuni achievement as well as 1 each of the 4 packs available, giving me access to Laboratory. I'll get around to grinding that shortly, but there's a few few more trades I want to take care of first, such as trading one of the spare Electabuzzes I had from my pulls for a promo Electabuzz that's much worse of a card over in the Lightning Club lobby, earning the Thunderous Trade achievement. And into the trunk you go, never to be played. But I guess while I'm wandering around for these trades, I should probably keep taking care of the Imakuni fights, assuming I run into it, though that does require me to soft reset every time I beat him, otherwise he won't reappear. Quickly beating him 2 more times for a grand total of 3 earns me the This Is Confusing achievement for getting his namesake Imakuni trainer. Once again, straight into the trunk, this time with prejudice for being such an ass-pissed booty cheese card. And hey, since I beat him in the Science Club lobby, there's a trade here as well, giving this last the one Clefairy I pulled at the end of my mystery packs to get a promo Pikachu. Don't worry, while this takes Clefairy out of my collection, it's still registered in the card deck, so I don't have to grind for it again. What I do need to grind for is laboratory packs, since I need the cards from there for a few more trades to finish up those achievements. Thankfully, Joseph here in the Science Club is giving them out as a prize for winning, so it's time to start stealing them like candy from a baby.
Which is fine by me.
He uses a very strange amalgamation of nonsense that just flies around, and it's very easy to take down with Haymaker, seeing the likes of Zubat, Spearow, Flying Pikachu, Pidgey. It's all weak to either lightning or fighting, so that means more fun for me with Haymaker. Nothing really important to pull out of here though, aside from one great trainer card in Super Energy Removal, but chances are I'll only be jamming 1 or 2 of it depending on my pulls. It only takes about a dozen duels for me to get 44 out of the 51 cards, which opens me up to a few more trades. One of which I forgot about earlier, but I just simply have to give this last in the Grass Club a Charizard in exchange for Blastoise, giving me the playset. I don't actually need 4 though, 3 is more than enough to keep the deck consistent, so I don't care. There's also a man in the Fighting Club that wants a Weezing from Laboratory, but this was actually the 5th trade in the sequence. All 5 of them are just uncommons from various sets that you have to give him, but this was the last one I needed to give him to receive the Pikachu level 16 promo, earning the Pika Party achievement. 2 more trades remain before the postgame, both of which are with Ishihara at the top left corner of the map, with the first requiring a Clefable I just pulled from Laboratory to get the Surfing Pikachu promo, earning Surfing Pika 2, a reference to how this art is slightly different from the normal one you can get from Challenge Cups, which we'll get to after a few of those Club Masters. The last one after leaving and soft resetting is back in Ishihara's house, trading a Ditto from Laboratory for a Flying Pikachu, earning the namesake Flying Pikachu achievement. Shortly after, though, I'm able to finish off the last 7 cards missing from Laboratory over in the Science Club, pulling Haunter and finishing the last of the 4 core sets, though only with 215 out of 226 cards obtained, since there's still a few more promos to get later on. And hey, 11 out of 35 achievements already done, and we haven't even earned a single club medal yet in the 14 hours spent pretty much just grinding for cards in the game. Oh, that's a little bit of an indictment on this game, so let's fix that by challenging Amy in the Water Club. She's being blocked by Joshua, so after thrashing him, I'm able to challenge her, and despite it being a 6-prize game, all I had to do was KO 2 of her Squirtles with Electabuzz, and with the power of weakness, it's an easy clap to earn the All Dried Up achievement. Next up is Nikki, and after taking out all 3 of her club members, I can find her in Ishihara's house, chasing her out and back to the Grass Club to challenge her for the Grass Medal. This one plays out a little bit longer, making me get 5 prizes out of 6, but the fact that Hitmonchan alone was able to solo through the likes of Oddish, Bulbasaur, Gloom, and Exeggutor before Electabuzz charged in and blasted her last Pokemon in Execute just goes to show how strong Haymaker really is, easily wrapping up the cut down to size achievement. Before heading out though, I made sure to save since it's time for a missable achievement. Remember Ronald, the rival character? No? Oh, that's because I haven't mentioned him yet, and despite being a blue-esque dickish rival, he's just not really worth talking about all that much. He also wants to play a 6-prize game, but again, we've got speed on our side due to big basics and low energy costs. His Growlithe falls doing the same to the second one as Charmeleon hits the board, so I'm able to go into Hitmonchan, doing plenty enough damage with Special Punch before getting KO'd and tearing through the last 20 HP with Electabuzz, taking the 3rd prize. Scyther takes out the 4th from Cubone, Electabuzz the 5th from a 3rd Growlithe, leaving just Lapras, which succumbs to the Lightning weakness. And yes, it's called Lightning in the TCG. If someone calls the Lightning type the Electric type in regards to the TCG again, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. With Lapras KO'd though, that's the game, the level 12 Jigglypuff promo, and the I'm Ronald achievement. No, you're Ronald. I'm Meatball. And I'm Deranged Gyro! What the fuck are you? Are you some kind of Greek version of me?
Of course I am, asshole! Except this version of you doesn't want anything to do with those shitty little Italian meatballs of yours. This one loves gyros, loves souvlaki, and loves anal sex.
Didn't expect that kind of Greek. Anyway, onto the Lightning Club, and after beating all 3 of the club members here, Isaac is ready to duel and get absolutely obliterated senseless by Hitmonchan. No challenge at all, just mop the floor with him after taking all 6 prizes to earn the upstaged achievement. That's 3 medals down, and now that I've got that many, I can go make an extra filler deck and throw my remaining energy cards in there as possible before talking to this lad in the Fire Club, giving all of my remainders and looking behind this painting to earn the Slowpoke level 9 promo, getting the An Energetic Trade achievement. Following one missable up with another, and it's time for the first Challenge Cup. I have to do this now before the 4th club medal, but despite there being 3 opponents in a row, you can just cheese it by saving in between and soft resetting if you lose, so no harm, no foul. However, I'm just a god gamer, and swung into these fools with the steel chair that is Haymaker, KOing both the first round and semi-final opponents with only 1 prize each, before running up against Ronald again. His deck is a bit more focused compared to the first time around, centralizing around low-cost attackers like my Haymaker strategy, but using a few less powerful ones like Magmar or Geodude. Scyther is still in his list though, so it's a little bit of a tough fight, going back and forth on a few prizes, but I pull ahead, taking 2 prizes for every one that Ronald takes to easily earn the win, the level 60 Mewtwo promo, and the no need for a Master Ball achievement. Very true, actually. Though Master Ball is a trainer card in the next game, so I wouldn't be surprised if I use one at some point. With that done though, it's back to medal collecting, this time heading to Gene of the Rock Club. He's just challengeable straight away, and most of his Pokemon have a weakness to grass. Despite that, I did not find Scyther for a few turns, so Hitmonchan took the helm starting out, but managed to solo the entire fight, taking all 6 prizes alone to earn the Paper Beats Rock achievement and the Rock Medal. Murray of the Psychic Club is the same way, no need for me to go out of my way to fight club members, and despite Hitmonchan's weakness to Psychic, Scyther and Electabuzz can still carry very effectively through this duel. Well, after of course starting with Hitmonchan because the game's shuffler was like, nah, not this easy this time, chump. Only for Murray to start Kangaskhan against me. It has the fetch attack for 1 energy and draws a card, so I get why it's in the deck for consistency's sake without just shoving 4 Bill and 4 Oak into Murray's deck. So I'm able to take the 2-hit KO with plus power, heading into Mr. Mime, KOing in 2 shots to take the second prize. The rest of the fight goes swimmingly since Mr. Mime and Abra are such small fry with 40 and 30 HP respectively, letting me clean up, earn the Psychic Medal, and the Didn't See It Coming achievement. 19 down, 16 remain. The next one of which is missable, since it's another scripted fight with Ronald after getting the 5th medal, so I save and head right in, hilariously with this fight also starting with Hitmonchan vs Kangaskhan. I don't have the plus power to 2-shot, but it's completely fine. His deck is no match for mine at this point. Kangaskhan, dead. Mr. Mime, dead. Jinx, dead. Unfortunately, he does take a prize off of me with Hitmonlee, but he doesn't manage to take another as I finish the last few of my 6 through his mix of Murray's and my decks essentially, earning me the Super Energy Retrieval promo as well as the Super Retrieval Artist achievement. Funny thing about this card, this was a promo of course in Japan, hence why it's a promo in this game, but Western regions wouldn't see a printing of Super Energy Retrieval until the first Gen 2 era set, Neo Genesis. Right after I can talk to Pappy in the Psychic Club to get the alternate art Mewtwo level 60 promo, earning the A Gift from Pappy achievement. One more missable achievement before the postgame though, once again through the Challenge Cup between the 5th and 6th medals. Same rigmarole as last time, kill 3 people, win a level 8 Mew. Every game was a shutout, and Ronald's deck was pretty much the same as last time, so no need to dawdle on those, earning me the original Mew achievement. 3 club medals remain, and Ken the Fire Master is up next. Fun fact, die. Rick is 7th on the list with the Science Medal, another trivial one to take down despite his usage of Mewtwo since, wow, it's not a good card? Who could have guessed? I just hold him hostage with a bunch of energy removal and kill him into the sun, not letting him take a single prize as I take all 6 to earn the Science Medal and the Funding Cancelled achievement. Last stop is Mitch in the Fighting Club, and his peoples are all around the different clubs, and there's only 3 of them, so once I'm done sending them packing, I can fight Mitch and pummel him into the ground. Scyther resistance? Good game! That's the Metas Match achievement finished up, and with all 8 club medals in hand, it's time to take on the Elite Four, the Grand Masters. They wield the legendary cards of Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno, and Dragonite, and I need those for my achievement points. Think of them as sin points, but a lot less, sinful.
Shadow, it's me, the devil. I'm here to convince you to do sin.
First up, the Grandmaster of Flames, Team Magma's Courtney. Different Courtney, actually. I'm not running in here with Rain Dance despite the easy weakness bait because Haymaker is just too much to handle most of the time, especially with even the final bosses having suboptimal decks that aren't on 4 Oak, 4 Energy Removal, 4 bill, 4 computer search, 4 item finder, and so on and so forth, unlike myself. It's a simple game of rushing them down, removing their energy, and swinging until the cows come home with Thunder Shock, Thunder Punch, Jab, Special Punch, and Slash. Courtney tries to fight it, but she can't draw enough energy to outlast me to save her life, losing 5 prizes to none despite busting out the legendary Moltres card. 1 down and nearly a perfect sweep to earn her achievement. The Grandmaster of Lightning is next, and what's your name there, champ?
I am Steve.
Ah, great. I guess I would be remiss to not say that I'm gonna be zapping this deck into a plate of fried chicken, Jackie! Alright, I'll stop with the Minecraft jokes. This fight's trivial since Zapdos is weak to lightning and the rest to fighting, so down he goes thanks to the power of energy removal and weakness, earning the achievement 6 prizes to 0. Third is Jack, the Grandmaster of Freeze, and freeze I shall because Chansey is a brick wall starting off. It's fine though, weakness with Hitmonchan makes it a 3-shot and gives me more than enough time to charge up Special Punch while hitting jabs and keeping him off of energy. It all falls like a ton of bricks from there, second Chansey down, Lapras, then after Hitmonchan bites the dust it's up to Electabuzz to take out Articuno, the legendary card form of Articuno, and Lapras all with 3 cards left in deck to spare, winning the game 5 prizes to none to earn Jack's achievement. Last up is the Grandmaster of Dragon, Rod. And he certainly took a Rod during this game because I smashed him into bits. 3 prizes and that's it since he just ran out of basics, earning his achievement. And would you look who we have here? Just like in Pokemon Red and Blue, with Blue reaching the championship before you did, Ronald reached the legendary cards and was just about to grab them before I stepped in. He starts the game the same way that Rod did with Kangaskhan. I go with Hitmonchan, it's an easy 3-shot with Double Jab and Special Punch, leading to Moltres. So I retreat into Electabuzz and start blasting. Thunder Shock and 3 Thunder Punches does the job all while I keep him energy starved, leaving just a Dragonair with 1 lone fire energy on the board. He does manage to hit double heads with Slam to KO me, but I'm right back to my previously charged Hitmonchan to do 40 damage with Special Punch, threatening the win next turn, especially after a super energy removal that takes away both his fire and double colorless energies. Ronald doesn't fight a basic during his next turn, no energy either, so it's 1 more Special Punch for the victory, the championship, and the grandest of the Masters achievement. And finally, the 4 legendary cards of Moltres, Articuno, Zapdos, and Dragonite, leaving only 5 post-game achievements to wrap up. The first 2 come from the only post-game trade, as I can head to Ishihara's house after the credits roll to trade a Chansey for the other version of the Surfing Pikachu level 13 promo, getting the Surfing Pikachu achievement, and the 226th and final card for the Card Master achievement. Oddly enough, the last 3 achievements are in the same place we started, Dr. Mason's lab. First up is the Challenge Machine, simply beat 10 consecutive trainers in a row to claim the prize. This one, despite the name, is a little more challenging than the Challenge Cup, since I just can't save between every game. Michael, Adam, Stephanie, Clubmaster Amy, and Grandmaster Courtney, though, stand no chance against the power of Haymaker, getting me to 5 wins very quickly, and then with the second list of Chris, John, Eric, Clubmaster Isaac, and Rod being the follow-up 5, I'm also just wiping them left and right. Once again, I cannot just state how broken Haymaker is in base fossil format, just obliterating everything you touch and using your trainer toolbox since you're accessing pretty much your entire deck from the get-go with how much consistency 4 Bill, Oak, Computer Search, and Item Finder find you. It takes about an hour of in-game time to get all 10 of them done and dusted, but that's completely fine. No losses means upon defeating Rod, I earned the A Dr. Mason Creation achievement. And that is the hardest of them. The last 2 achievements I actually could have gotten at any time by facing off against Mason's Tech Aaron. His decks are very simple to beat and simply here to give you extra energy cards from boosters he provides upon defeat. Basically as fodder in case you were missing energy for a deck you wanted to play throughout the adventure and weren't smart enough to put all of the energy that you had in the other 3 deck slots to get them for free. Upon defeating his Lightning and Fire deck, I earned Tech Tamed, and beating the other 2 earns me Aaron Aced, finishing the 35 achievements within a grand total of 18 hours and 37 minutes, though with the game on 2x speed up the entire time, it was about half that time in reality. Sheesh, upon reflection, 14 of those 18.5 hours were spent before getting a single club medal and purely on grinding. Maybe there's really not that much to this one after all. I still really like the game since I enjoy the base fossil format, and it's still fun nonetheless for the, 4 hours of game that you get after that, and I'd still recommend it as a good way to get your feet wet in terms of the Pokemon trading card game. It's available on the Nintendo Classics on the Switch, and has online connectivity, so if you want to play base fossil format with your friends, you can do that as much as you please. But that's it from me today. Next time we'll be jumping into the Japanese-only Pokemon TCG 2, The Invasion of Team Great Rocket. Until then, thank you to my Meatball Lover channel members, Akuma, Steven, and Snackin'/Zombies, as well as all my other channel members. You guys help make the channel keep going. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.